Have you ever been having a genuinely wonderful moment, surrounded by friends, laughing and feeling alive, only to have your partner whisper something cruel in your ear that instantly drained all of the joy from your body? If this has happened to you, you have experienced one of the narcissist's cruelest tactics, the deliberate sabotage of your happiness, especially when others are around to witness your joy. Today, I'm going to share a story that perfectly captures this behavior, and I'm going to explain why narcissists do this. And most importantly, I'm going to help you understand that this wasn't about anything that you did wrong. Let me take you back to a beautiful summer in Walla Walla, Washington's wine country. Neil and I were with two other couples, friends of Neil's who had become part of our social circle. We entered this stunning tasting room at Long Shadow, a winery that features the work of multiple acclaimed winemakers. It's one of the most beautiful tasting rooms in Walla Walla. If you're ever there, don't miss it. Go see it. It's just lovely. We were seated at a big, round wooden table, ready to taste some of the best wines in the world. The weather was extraordinary. The setting was magical. The wine was exquisite. I was surrounded by warm, fun people. The conversation was flowing as freely as the wine. I was savoring every sip, every moment, every bit of delicious conversation. I had quickly forgotten about my discomfort and my crutches. I was still recovering from a broken ankle at the time. It was one of those rare moments in life that you just know you'll always remember. Pure joy, complete presence, genuine connection. I was fully engaged in the lively conversation, laughing and contributing and feeling truly alive for the first time in a long time. And that's when Neil struck. Neil was seated beside me as I listened to our friend's conversation, fully present and genuinely happy. He leaned over and whispered in my ear, "Nobody really wants to hear your crap. You need to shut the F up." It was a dagger in my heart. The joy left my soul lightning fast. I was absolutely stunned by his words. I will never forget the sick feeling in the pit of my stomach at that moment. A nausea that had nothing to do with the wine and everything to do with the poison he had just injected into my happiness. Nobody else heard him. Nobody knew that he had just sent me into a swirling state of hurt and confusion. I said little after that. While everyone else continued enjoying themselves, I sat there, drowning in questions. What could I have done differently? What did I say? What could possibly be the reason for this amount of disrespect? Why do I have to be the one sitting here feeling so bad and so sad while everyone else is having such a fun time? Did I do something or say something that was inappropriate? There were no clues. I felt completely misunderstood. All I was left with was a sick and sad feeling that haunted me for the rest of the day and long after. If you've experienced something similar, you need to understand what really is happening in these moments. Narcissists cannot tolerate your joy. especially in social settings, for several psychological reasons. So let's go over them. First, your happiness threatens their control. When you're genuinely enjoying yourself, you're not focused on them. You're not walking on eggshells. You're not monitoring their mood. You're free, and your freedom terrifies them because it means they're losing their grip. Second, they experience your joy as a personal slight. In the narcissist's distorted worldview, they should be the center of attention at all times. And when you're shining, when you're laughing, when you're connecting with others, you're stealing attention that they believe rightfully belongs to them. Third, they need you small and uncertain. A confident, joyful you is harder to control. By sabotaging your happiness, they ensure that you remain in the state of confusion and self-doubt that keeps you dependent on them. Fourth, your ability to experience genuine happiness highlights what they lack. Narcissists are fundamentally incapable of experiencing authentic joy or deep connection. Watching you effortlessly do what they cannot creates a rage within them, though they would never consciously acknowledge this. And fifth, they enjoy the power. There's a sadistic element to being able to destroy someone's happiness. With just a few whispered words, it reinforces their sense of power and control. This wasn't an isolated incident in my relationship with Neil. It was a pattern. During dinner parties, he would wait until I was engaged in conversation and then make cutting remarks under his breath. During family gatherings, just when I was feeling connected and happy, he would find a way to deflate me. During celebrations, even celebrations meant for me, he would find something to criticize or some way to shift the focus back to him or to punish me for enjoying myself. The narcissist operates on a simple but cruel principle. If they can't feel genuine joy, you don't get to either. And here's what makes this particularly insidious. They often do this in public settings where you cannot respond, you cannot defend yourself, and you can't even show your hurt without looking like you're causing a scene. They whisper poison into your ear, then sit back and watch you try to maintain composure while dying inside. What happened after that moment at the winery is just as important as the attack itself. For the rest of that day, and honestly, for weeks afterwards, I was trapped in rumination. My mind spun endlessly, trying to figure out what I had done wrong. This is exactly what the narcissist wants. By delivering these attacks without explanation, without clear cause, they ensure that you'll torture yourself trying to solve an unsolvable puzzle. You'll replay the conversation over and over. You'll analyze every word you said. You will wonder if you were too loud, if you were too animated, too happy, too much. But here's the truth. I wish I had known then. There was nothing wrong with what I said or how I participated in that conversation. The crime wasn't anything I did. The crime was simply that I was happy. I was shining. I was present. I was connecting with others and I was experiencing joy that didn't revolve around him. And in the narcissist world, that's unforgivable. I want you to think back on your relationship. How many times were you having a wonderful time only to have it suddenly destroyed by your partner? Maybe they started a fight right before an event that you were looking forward to. Or maybe they made cutting remarks during a celebration. Or they gave you the silent treatment after you had a great time with friends. Or they criticized you on the drive home from a party where you had a really good time. Or found fault with something minor to ruin a special occasion. Or they became cold and distant when you received good news or achieved something. If any of this sounds familiar, please understand this is a deliberate pattern, not a coincidence. The narcissist cannot allow you to have sustained periods of joy, especially joy that doesn't center around them. Your happiness represents a threat to their control, and they will sabotage it every single time. And if you've been blaming yourself, thinking that maybe you were too loud or too animated or too much, please hear me. You were not too much. You were exactly enough. You are allowed to experience joy. You are allowed to shine. The problem was never you. It was always their inability to tolerate your light. So, how do you heal from this? First, give yourself permission to feel angry. It's okay to be furious that somebody deliberately stole your joy. Your anger is healthy and justified, and don't rush past it in an effort to be a bigger person. Second, reclaim your right to happiness. The narcissist trained you to dim your light, to shrink yourself, to apologize for experiencing joy. A big part of your healing journey is learning to shine again without guilt or fear. Third, start surrounding yourself with people who celebrate your happiness rather than sabotage it. Pay attention to how people respond when you're joyful. Healthy people will smile, they'll laugh with you, and they'll feel genuine happiness for your happiness. That's what real love looks like. Fourth, practice being present in your joy. Trauma from narcissistic abuse can make it hard to fully experience positive emotions. You might find yourself waiting for the other shoe to drop, scanning for threats, unable to relax into happiness. This is normal, but it can be healed with practice and patience. Fifth, understand that their inability to tolerate your joy was never about your worthiness of happiness. It was about their profound emptiness, their inability to experience authentic, positive emotions, and their need to control you. And finally, remember this. Every time you experience genuine joy now, especially in the company of others, you're not just healing yourself, You are reclaiming everything the narcissist tried to steal from you. If you're still in the relationship where your happiness is constantly sabotaged, please pay attention to this pattern. A partner who truly loves will delight in your joy. They will celebrate your connections with others. They will feel happy when you're happy. They want to see you shine, never deliberately hurt you in moments of happiness. If your moments of joy are constantly followed by punishment, whether through cruel comments or silent treatment or manufactured conflicts, you're not in a loving relationship. You are in a controlling one. You deserve to experience happiness without fear. You deserve to laugh freely without wondering if you'll pay for it later. You deserve to shine without having to dim your light to protect someone else's fragile ego. That day at Long Shadow Winery should have been a beautiful memory. And in some ways it was, until Neil's whispered cruelty transformed it into something painful. But I am reclaiming that memory now. I am choosing to remember the exquisite wine, the warm friends, the beautiful setting, and yes, my own joy and engagement in that moment. Neil's words were about his darkness, not about my light. And your partner's sabotage of your happiness, that was about their emptiness, not your worth. You are allowed to be happy. You are allowed to shine. You are allowed to experience joy without punishment. If this resonates with you, please like the video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And share the video with someone who might need to hear this message. I want to know if you have experienced this too. So leave a comment, let me know. Tell me if you can relate to my experience of your joy being sabotaged. Sometimes just naming it helps us reclaim it. Remember, you deserve to live in joy and happiness. Your light deserves to shine.